Hey there.
Good evening.
Hi there.
Hello.
Hello.
Well,
Hey there.
welcome. You are watching 5x5 Night virtually from hopefully the presence of your home or some safe location. So I'm Paul Moore, and I'm with Star Garden. We'll introduce here the other judges in a moment, but 5x5 Night, in short, real quick, if this is new to you, we're going to have 5 presenters that each have 5 minutes to present 5 slides, and one of them will walk home with $5,000 at the end of the night. It's what we do every month to make sure that people that have a great idea and a great business can do something to get it off the ground. Oftentimes, what we hear is that it was an idea before 5x5 Night, and after 5x5 Night, it was the thing that I do, I being the presenter. So, do you guys want to introduce yourselves real quick? Just popcorn style. I won't call out your name.
Sure. I'm Lori Sapinski, Program Director at Star Garden.
Good afternoon. I'm Jorge Gonzalez, and I'm also a director here at Star Garden. And I'm actually in the space, so that's why you can see the 5x5 sign in the back.
Nice touch, Jorge. I like that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome back. I'm Daryl Ross, part of the Star Garden team as well.
Good afternoon. Oh.
No, I was going to bring you up, but go ahead. We have a celebrity guest this week. This month.
I am Kimberly Like You. I'm the owner of Lux Artisan Preserves.
Kimberly, maybe you give us an update on how things are going with Lux. You came through a competition, I don't know, well, now everything feels like a year ago, but I guess everything was 2 years ago. So last year didn't happen. But yeah, how's it going?
It's going really well. You know, I'm at the point where I'm growing fairly quickly. So, you know, making some decisions around how to build my team, how to scale in a healthy way, in a healthy manner. So it feels good. Right now, I'm in retail space in Capital City Market in Lansing, Michigan. We'll be in some local retailers soon, and then have customers in 24 states across the United States and the District of Columbia. So it's been going really great.
Wow. That's different from when you first showed up. Yeah.
Yes, it feels like yesterday. I was just in the top 100 in, I think it was September of 2019.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Congratulations. That's fantastic. I love it.
Thank you.
Be encouraged, all of you watching. It doesn't take that long. Sometimes it's a grind. Sometimes it's not so much a grind.
Sure.
So yeah, I think, do we want to get into presentations?
I think we do.
All right. Well, this is who's up tonight. We got the NAGELKIRK elderberry syrup, the Drone Zone Air, BASALT, which is a restaurant concept, lifting power crutches, and Ella's Eve Cosmetics. So why don't we go ahead and get started? I'm getting my notebook, and Murphy, by the way, we have a back studio team of Murphy and Belen, and they're making all this stuff magically happen. So thank you, Murphy and Belen. And let's hear from Stacy.
Hi, guys.
Hey, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me here tonight. I'm so excited to share my passion and my business with you guys, and I'm super excited. So let's get started. You can go to the first slide. I am Stacy NAGELKIRK, and my company is NAGELKIRK Elderberry Syrup. You can find us on Facebook at NAGELKIRK Elderberry Syrup, and my other contact information is listed below. Next slide. I just want to start out by telling you a little bit about myself and how I got started with this business. So I am a certified health coach, and I'm very passionate about plant-based nutrition and using food as medicine and prevention whenever possible. I also love entrepreneurship and all of the ups and downs that come with starting and running your own business. I am a wife and mom to the awesome family pictured on the right, and they have been cheering me on for the past couple years as I've started this business. So how did I get started? Well, a few years ago, I was making my final batch of elderberry syrup of the season for my own family, and I had some extra berries, so I decided to just use them up and make a larger batch than normal. I ended up having 9 extra jars of syrup, so I posted the picture on the left on my Facebook page to see if anyone would be interested in buying a jar. And guess what? 60 people wanted a jar of my syrup. So I did what any good entrepreneur would do. I went out and bought more berries, fulfilled all 60 orders, and started my own business. So it was a natural fit for me right from the start. I was already enjoying making and taking elderberry syrup, and it really aligns with my passion of wanting to see other families support their health naturally. Next slide. The health of our nation is looking really bleak as Americans continue to eat the standard American diet full of overprocessed and high inflammatory foods. People are also looking for really quick fixes with medicines and surgeries. And to be honest, I think we need to start taking our health a little more seriously. The exciting news, though, is that research is showing that year after year, there is a rise in people who are looking for more natural ways to support their health. Elderberries are packed with beneficial nutrients and have been used in traditional medicine for hundreds of years. They're anti-inflammatory and provide the body with tons of antioxidants. They help aid in digestive health, improve heart health, reduce inflammation, support a balanced immune system, and can protect against many strains of influenza. And to be honest, that is just scratching the surface of this amazing berry. It's such a simple and super delicious way to provide our bodies with more plant nourishment. And I think if we don't start taking prevention more seriously, our healthcare system cannot sustain the downward spiral that we're all trending towards. And I just love that my syrup can play a small role in positively impacting people's health naturally. Next slide. A lot of stores sell elderberry syrups, but they're often full of glucose syrup and other additives. Instead, my syrup uses raw local honey, which has additional health benefits and includes no preservatives. My syrup is also roughly half the cost of the store-bought elderberry syrup. So my syrup comes in a 16-ounce jar and retails for $20, whereas store-bought varieties are roughly $37 for 16 ounces. Not only does my syrup provide wonderful health benefits and can be purchased at an affordable cost, but it also has fabulous profit margins, which makes it a fruitful business. So to produce 1 jar of my syrup costs me $3.50. So that ends up giving me an 82% profit margin. Next slide. For the last year, I've been flirting with the income cap associated with selling under the cottage law. I've grown this business from my home kitchen, but I am ready to take my business to the next level by getting licensed through the state and starting production in a commercial kitchen. I feel like I've just scratched the surface of the local market, and I'm excited to expand into Holland and the Grand Rapids area by beginning to sell at the Holland Farmers Market and the Fulton Street Farmers Market as my next step forward. So how would I spend the $5,000? $2,000 would be put towards purchasing a new fridge that can actually hold the amount of syrup I produce at a time. I'm currently using my 20-year-old college dorm room fridge, as well as overflow in our personal family fridge, and we want to reclaim our fridge. $1,000 would go towards the design and purchase of new labels that have a more professional look and include all of the information required by the state. $1,000 would go towards updating my storefront with a new exterior door, light, and sign so people know where they are. And $1,000 to purchase a Crown Berkey water purifier that ensures that I'm using the best water source for my customers. So I'm so grateful to be able to have the opportunity to share my business with you guys tonight, and I'm excited to see what the future holds for NAGELKIRK elderberry syrup, and I'd love to answer any questions you have. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. I can jump in if nobody else is trying to ask a question. I mean, when you said you're flirting with the cottage law, I mean, what does that actually, for all of the people out there, what does that mean?
So under the cottage law, you can make something from home and not have to be inspected through the state, but the income limit on that is $25,000. And so I am very close to that. So I've been in conversation with Abby, who's the Michigan State food inspector, and just been talking about moving to the next level and what I need to do to make that happen.
All right. So it's definitely selling more than the first 60 bottles that you sold on Facebook.
Yes.
Is this your first endeavor as a business, or have you done something else?
I've kind of dabbled in a few things, but nothing this big. I mean, yeah, nothing this big.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Yeah, Stacy, you said a storefront. So do you actually have a storefront?
No, I meant to say storefront, but I ran out of characters. My storefront is my garage. And so, but we bought a house that needs some work, and the side garage door is not a priority in that work, but I would love to get a nice door that looks welcoming and a sign, because people are nervous to walk into someone else's garage uninvited. So just a sign so that they know they're in the right place.
So then that you have people coming and picking up at your house.
Yep. All of my customers come and pick up from my garage fridge.
Okay.
Stacy, I have a question.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. You mentioned that your cost per jar is $3.50. Does that include everything? So cost of labor, packaging, labels, ingredients?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, obviously I just pay myself off of what I make off of it. I'm the only employee.
I have the last question, and I'm just wondering as to, I mean, I don't know if Daryl has a question, but as far as the nutrition content, what about the carbs and the sugar? Because this is very appealing. You know, traditional syrups are very high in content of sugar. So can you talk to that about a little bit?
Yeah, that's a great question. I've calculated how much like honey is actually in each jar, and off the top of my head, I can't think of what that is, but I do have several diabetics who take my syrup, and they say that the carb content is within a very low range, so that it's not a cause for concern for that.
Cool.
So
Thank
I don't know if that helps.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Stacy.
You're welcome. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah. We'll see you. All right, Murphy, who's next? Oh, Deshaun Lyons with Drone Zone Air. Let's hear about it. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Deshaun Lyons. I hope everyone is having a great evening. I'm the founder of Drone Zone Air, and before we jump into the who we are and what we're doing, I'd like to take a brief moment to highlight our social media. If we could go to that first slide, please. Yes, our social media, we can be followed at Drone Zone Air. And if there are any business inquiries following this presentation, my email will be on the upcoming slide, and I'll make sure to highlight that. Once again, thank you so much for this opportunity, and please let's get started. Next slide, please. So you may be asking yourself, what is DZA, or what is Drone Zone Air? A quick background on drones, or UAVs. They're called unmanned aerial vehicles. The American government began using them in 1849 for military operations, but in 2013 is when the consumer industry really began to expand nationwide, and the industry has been booming ever since. Currently, right now with Drone Zone Air, we focus on fun flight experiences. We are a drone rental company. So whether that's a special event like a birthday party, a private or group flight lesson, or a corporate event, we'll come through, we'll do a brief lesson on how to fly our drones, and then we'll set up LED light gate race courses and a multitude of games that are centered around drones. We use things like Nerf guns, hoverboards, and it gets pretty fun. So you may be asking yourself, why drones? Is this a industry that is going to be around in the future? Is it here to stay? Well, according to the Toy Industry Association, In 2016 alone, consumer drone sales grew 224% for children ages 5 to 17. They are a big part of our consumer market, but adults do fly recreationally as well. Although a lot of the times adults fly for like their profession. So a lot of professions that use drones are search and rescue, the film industry, things like mining. They use these drones as well. Now, what we do with our birthday parties, like I said earlier, we show the individuals and the attendants how to fly these drones. We set up our obstacle race courses. Some of our drones come with goggles where you can see from the point of view of the drone. Some of our drones are more beginner drones. It's based on the level of the players at the event. And you may be asking yourself, why drones? In this instance, according to Business Insider, in 2019, the drone industry's market size was 4.4 billion. Right now, currently, going into the next 4 or 5 years here, going into 2025, Business Insider projected that the drone industry market cap size will grow to 63.6 billion, and PR Newswire reported that it will grow to 93.6 billion by 2030. So yes, this is a growing industry. We have a great opportunity here to introduce young kids to the STEM field, science, technology, engineering, and math. With these drone events and opportunities. Right now, there aren't a lot of African Americans in the STEM fields right now. And I think doing these drone events sparks the interest because we go over drone repair, we go over drone engineering in our private and group individual flight lessons. So we do spark that interest, and it is something to look forward to the future as the industry continues to grow. A little bit about myself. I'm 26 years old. I graduated from Michigan State University. I studied advertising management. I've been in corporate America for the last 6 years here, but my passion has always been to work with the youth in entrepreneurship. With drones being a technology that will become more in demand as time progresses, I think this is a niche, not just a niche opportunity, but a great opportunity. If you've heard, Amazon have seen record sales numbers during the pandemic, and they rely heavily on drone delivery. So it is a booming market. And from our experience, what we would use the $5,000 for to continue to push our business forward is we just got our first deal with a Lansing children's gym called Spartan Dance and Fitness. Next slide, please. Called Spartan Dance and Fitness. Thank you. And what we'll be doing with Spartan Dance and Fitness is we'll be purchasing 50 drones. We'll be purchasing 50 LED light gate race gates, and they have a pretty big high ceiling gym. They actually have 5 different gyms in their facility, a Spartan Dance and Fitness, where they're actually allowing us to come in, set up these drone races courses, and allowing the student clientele that they have and the parents to come in and pay for these classes. So we would be using the $5,000 to purchase the drones with the headsets, where we can see from the point of view of the drone. We'd be purchasing the gates once again, and then we'd need more power outlets to make sure this course can run all the way through. So that $5,000 would help us tremendously to get into Spartan Dance and Fitness Center and get our business off the floor more. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Anyone want to kick it off with questions, judges?
Kimberly, do you want to go?
Sure. I just had a question about the drone itself. So it sounds like you're going to be using money to purchase drones. So how much does one unit actually cost?
Yes, so we have a plethora of different, we have beginner, we have a novice and advanced. Our beginner drones are only $40. Our advanced drones that come with the headsets, where you can see from the point of view of the drone as you're flying, those can be between $75 and $100, but the ones we've been looking at round up to $83.99. In addition to that, the LED light gates that we use, that they let you know when a drone has passed through them, and they kind of like keep count of the drone races. Those can be more expensive, $100 to $150 range.
Okay. So within that market, because it sounds like kids from 5 to 17 years of age are the ones that are commonly using it. Working with Spartan Fitness, what is your niche market? Are you thinking you're going to be more on the beginners side or like the intermediate? Like where do you feel like you're going to start out or where you'll fall?
Yes, no, thank you. Great question. So the niche market is definitely with so Spartan Dance Offenders, they have a lot of 5 to 17-year-olds that dance and do their ninja nasty courses. So they kind of already have our book of business, if that kind of makes sense for us. So we will be focusing on those beginner courses, but there are also a great deal of young adults that are kind of advanced when it comes to flying drones. They love drones. It's what they do. They use it for filmmaking and whatnot. So if there are students who have more of an advanced level, we do have courses for them as well.
Okay, thank you.
How much does it cost? How much do you charge, and is it?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. So for a 2.5-hour birthday party, we charge $300. For private lessons, we charge $50 an hour. And for corporate events, we can charge up to $500. And a lot of this depends on how many drones that we're bringing to the function and how many participants will be using the drones. Something that we've seen that a lot of people like is that drones are perfect for a pandemic, right? You don't have to stand right next to someone to fly a drone. I can fly a drone from 30 feet away from you and we can still be interacting, racing each other, but not having to be right by each other. So it's something that we've seen in companies like.
All right. First, great social media plug. And on your first slide, that was really good. Always do that. I guess my question is, you threw out some market cap numbers, 4 to 63 billion in growth and so forth. I'm assuming those are sales. Do you know the percentage that are rental? And have you seen an increase, not necessarily in dollars, but maybe frequency of events, even in your own business, which would lead you to think that there's some growth potential in there?
Yeah, so that is a great question. Yes, when I looked at the Business Insider and the PR News, those were talking about consumer sales. With what we're looking at as far as the consumer sales and what I've seen in the pandemic alone and us getting the deal with Spartan Dance and Fitness Center, there definitely is a growth in this market. What our niche market isn't necessarily the selling of drones. It's more so the fun flight experiences. So you're racing on these LED light courses. You may have a hoverboard and a Nerf gun, playing some of the games we've created while also using drones. So we most so focus on the fun flight experiences opposed to like the selling of drones. But yes, to both of your questions, yes, it is about the selling of drones, but the industry is growing. And personally, in my business endeavors, I've seen an increase in frequency of people that are interested in these fun flight experiences with drones.
So just to clarify then, you're just in the rental, you're just doing the rental. Is there an option for somebody to buy drones from you as well?
So that is something we're looking at right now, just to be completely upfront with you. Our end goal is autonomous drone flying. So right now, we're getting a lot of the community involved in flying these drones, but we want to be able to do drone shows. So let's say a high school homecoming is having a party. We want to have our programmer to do a drone show in front of over that field or that gym. So that is our end goal. But as of right now, we are focusing on the fun flight experience as opposed to the drone selling.
Okay.
But we do provide our own drones at the functions.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I'm feeling good, and we got to get on to our next presenter. But thank you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Have a great day.
Yeah, that's great. All right, Murphy, who's next? BASALT. Steven, you are up.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having me here tonight. I'm really excited. So we can just go ahead and jump right in. Slide 1, please. So my name is Steven Martinez Steele. I am the founder and taquero at BASALT. BASALT is a from-scratch modern Tex-Mex kitchen that blends Tejano tradition with West Michigan sensibilities with the goal of creating food that is delicious, distinctive, and inclusive. So I founded BASALT at the beginning of 2020 as a vendor at the Fulton Street Farmers Market. And we got our start there selling hot ready-to-eat breakfast tacos on the weekends. We were selling a few dozen every weekend. But by midsummer, we were able to purchase a small food trailer, which allowed us to increase our sales by switching to a made-to-order model and expanding our menu offerings. So next slide. So we're really excited that this year we have the opportunity to open up a brick and mortar location in Easttown, right on Wealthy Street. And our plan is to take the same feeling of community that we had and have at the Fulton Street Farmers Market and create a neighborhood space for casual dining with a distinctive and inclusive menu that features a variety of options for different dietary preferences and restrictions. In addition to indoor dining, we also want to build really robust takeout and catering programs, and we have our eye on a great spot right outside the building for outdoor dining as well. So we found this spot, my husband and I, just last month, beginning of January. We're right on the corner of Wealthy and Ethel, and the space has just a really fantastic layout with a lot of potential for fulfilling the vision that we have. We're fortunate that there is a fairly new hood system installed, but there's still a lot of work to do to get the space ready for opening date. That includes remodeling the dining space, purchasing the remaining kitchen equipment that we need, and getting some furniture built by a local woodworking company. We're aiming for a mid-April soft opening for takeout, with a May grand opening for dine-in, which will depend, of course, on what COVID guidelines and restrictions are in place at that point. Next slide. So expanding into a brick and mortar location is just a really incredible opportunity for us, and not just for the business side of things, but also for the fulfillment of our mission, which is to build community through food. As many of you know, I'm sure food is naturally communal, and it is a super powerful tool for bringing people together. At BASALT, we start with our own people and culture when we're looking at that. So we work to provide an inclusive work environment, and we do that through paying a living wage, working to eliminate barriers to employment, such as extraneous uniform and supply costs, so we don't want anyone to have to pay to start working for us. We pursue diversity in our hiring process, and we also work to promote empathy and understanding among the team. But our community goes beyond our physical space, and it includes the relationships that we build and nurture within the local food economy. Buying local is a priority for us because it means that every taco that we sell puts money and resources back into the hands of local farmers, local vendors, and other small food producers. And that is super important to us. We're also developing a strategy for supporting local organizations that work in our communities to improve the lives of marginalized and underrepresented and oppressed people. So that's something that we're looking at too. A little bit of my background, I grew up in Houston eating Tex-Mex food, making Tex-Mex food since I was a kid. And I spent the last 10 years in food service kind of looking for this culture and community that I want to build. And Tex-Mex food just really embodies all of those things. So next slide, and next slide too, sorry. So, opening a restaurant isn't cheap, so $5,000 will go really far towards helping us towards our mission statement goals. So if we're awarded the money, our first priority is to pay for uniforms, equipment, and supplies for our opening crew. And then any remaining money will be spent building out our retail space so that we can offer another way to support small local food producers by giving them shelf space right in Easttown to sell their products. So thank you so much for your time, and I can't wait to see you all at the restaurant.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. So it sounds like you signed a lease. You're in the build out phase, and like mid-April is the target. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct. Yes, we signed the lease last month, and we are barreling towards mid-April.
All right. Yeah. questions, judges. I mean, we didn't get to cover things like price points and sort of projections for revenue and things like that. So I have a curiosity about that, but I'm opening up to judges if you have any specific questions.
I do. I know all of us, we kind of talked about this, and me being Mexican American, I kind of struggled with, and I actually have a good friend of mine that's here from Texas today, so he might disagree with me, but Steven, when I think of Tex-Mex, and I said to Paul this, I think of Taco Bell. I think of tell me the difference, because when I went to your Facebook page, and
That's biased.
yes, it is, and that's why I'm trying to. What's the difference between Tex-Mex and modern Tex-Mex? Because
so
authentic Mexican.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So the first thing we want to cover is the difference between Mexican food and Tex-Mex, right? So Tex-Mex is basically a tradition of cuisine that takes Mexican food as the foundation, and then it blends other American regional flavors and flavor profiles and ingredients. So typically Tex-Mex is taking Southern and Southwestern flavor profiles and ingredients and creating things that you wouldn't typically see in Mexico. So Taco Bell isn't a great example, but Taco Bell, what they serve would be called a taco dorado, and that's a pretty decent example of taking something Mexican and then kind of Americanizing it, right? Which is a basic way to understand what Tex-Mex is. So modern Tex-Mex is what we're doing is we're taking that foundation, and then we're just kind of bringing it into the present day. So we're looking at what's important in current cuisine, especially in West Michigan, because that's where we're at. So seasonal produce, locally purchased ingredients, craft food. So something that we do is we make all of our tortillas by hand in-house. We make our chorizo, we make our salsas. And if we can't make it ourselves, we're finding a local producer who can make it for us, so that it's still a beautiful handcrafted ingredient.
Okay, that makes sense. Thanks, Stephen.
Yep.
I have a question. Stephen. Okay. You're opening a restaurant. Can you talk a little bit about your business model mix? So what percentage do you foresee being sit down in restaurant versus catering versus takeout? Have you given that any thought at all?
Sure, that's a great question. So catering is my personal background. So that's a part of the business that I'm really looking to dive into head first and build up. So for the first 12 months, what I'm hoping is that we can build that up to be about 20% of our sales. Okay. Now, we're also still going to be remaining a presence at the Fulton Street Farmers Market, and we're looking for that to be about 10 to 15% of our sales. We saw amazing sales growth there last year, and that was with limited dates. We had some instances where we had to pull out because of potential COVID scares or just not knowing what the environment was going to be with so many changes in the air, and then dine-in and takeout, I'm not quite sure what the percentages are going to be there. But my experience, growing up in Houston, tacos are just a food that travels really, really well. So what I'm really trying to target is folks who want a great, handcrafted meal and they want it quick. Maybe they want to pick it up on their way to the park or on their way to church. Maybe they just want to come pick up some stuff to take home to the family to enjoy in the comfort of their home. But we still want to provide a comfortable dining space inside and outside for folks who want to come hang out with us and get it hot off the griddle.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
So how much do you need to cover a month to be profitable? And then what does that translate into tacos? And
yeah, that's a great question. So I do have a projected P&L with all those numbers. I don't have them memorized, unfortunately. I do know that based on that P&L, we're looking at between 375 to 400,000 in revenue for the next 12 months. And that does have profit built into it. Thank goodness. That's not always easy to do. But, last year we had the fortune of starting at the farmer's market and being able to learn a lot while still being very small and scrappy. Yeah.
All right. Anything else, or we're hitting time to move on to the next presentation? All right.
We're good.
Awesome. Thank you,
Thanks so
Stephen.
much,
I live in Easttown. I would really love to have a taco that is walking distance from my house.
Yeah, I'd love to see you there.
It would be great. All right. Murphy, who is up next? Oh, it's David Clark with Lifting Power Crutches.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Hello, David. How's it going?
Yeah, real good. Thanks so much, Paul, Lori, George, Daryl, and Kimberly. Thanks so much for your time this evening and maybe putting in a longer day. Let's go to the first slide, please. Yeah, hi, I'm Dave Clark, and my company is Adaptive Concepts. My mission's to improve the independence and quality of lives of people with disabilities. And this presentation will cover the lifting power crutches and how the grant would prepare moving this product to the manufacturing phase. The project was motivated initially by watching a healthy combat soldier with prosthetic legs struggle to stand from his wheelchair, and he needed help from his buddy. So this inspired me to come up with a technology solution to help combat vets with stronger upper bodies regain their independence and to stand on their own. Next slide, please. So this all started at the 2018 Start Garden Demo Days event, and I prototyped a pair of these lifting power crutches, and that was the debut event. So I just want to say I really appreciate that opportunity to actually put that new product prototype out in the public domain and get feedback. The feedback at that Demo Days event was very positive, and I received particular interest from healthcare workers that were from a local physical therapy clinic, and they said, wow, if they could get that into their clinic, it could certainly help a lot of people simply standing from a sitting posture. After Demo Days, my company decided we're going to keep developing this technology, and we continued to design, evolve the product. In 2019, our company signed a collaborative agreement with the University of Pittsburgh, and that's with the Human Engineering Research Lab there at Pitt. It's affiliated with the VA hospital, and we more formally evaluated the crutches. In April 2020, just last year, the research lab completed that human trial of the lifting power crutches. And the bottom line of that report was that the crutches best serve individuals having a stronger upper body and with prosthetic or weak legs as the primary mobility limitation. So, this combination and report confirmed the crutches would serve the target market of veteran soldiers with strong upper bodies, but having prosthetic legs from combat-related injuries. Next slide, please. So the lift process, as shown on the image at the left, is representative of current clinical practice. And you'll see that the person that's seated in the wheelchair, they have to strap up like you can see there. And then the helper will kind of get into an awkward position, and they'll attempt to help lift the person along with the force provided by the person. So it's quite awkward. It eliminates independence for the seated person, the disabled person, and it also poses an injury risk for the helper, back and muscle strain. So the new methods on the right, this is the invention. This is the product that's currently seeded by the 2018 Start Garden process, and it's on its way through the development process very successfully. The user regains their independence. It's easy to use, and it's easy to stow. The stowage part, it's on the back of the wheelchair. There's a set of brackets that simply will stow the crutches when they're not in use. So the user activates the crutches with simply activating switches on the handles. I don't know if you remember that. Those that this was presented at the Start Garden in 2018, but It's very easy to use, and the lithium-ion battery that's on the crutches send force to the actuator, which lifts up to 230 pounds per crutch. So it's very convenient. Next slide, please. So I'm a licensed engineer. I have 2 engineering degrees, 5 US patents, 13 international patents, and both of my entries into Start Garden were accepted for demos. That was appreciated. Next slide, please. So the 4 boxes in this slide show the progress steps heading toward manufacturing these crutches. The first 2 boxes on the left are completed. I'm in the 3rd box now. I've got a second trial coming in Pittsburgh, and at that trial, we're going to need materials for building more crutches. I've got some design CAD that's needed to brighten up, brush up the design itself. UL certification requires a sample and some application associated fees. And then I'm going to have some support needed for grant writing. And the grant writing will be to the State of Michigan Small Business Development for additional funding moving into manufacturing. And by the way, I'm also going to need assistance from the Grand Rapids Economic Development Authority when we get to the point next year of locating a small facility in an appropriate zoned area for the startup. So I really appreciate the opportunity to apply for the grant, and that concludes my presentation.
Yeah, thank you, David. It's good to see you again, by the way.
Yeah, nice to see you.
I enjoy our events getting plugged as places where people get started. That's the whole goal of having them.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm curious because with these medical device products, the question becomes who is actually buying the product at the end of the day?
Right. So the target market will be the VA hospitals, and the beauty about the University of Pittsburgh. Dr. Rory, that's where I went for my undergrad, so I have connections back there. And I was a bioengineer back in the 80s, so way back ago, but I still have connections. Dr. Rory Cooper is the director of that Human Engineering Research Lab, and he himself came back as a wounded combat vet, so he has no legs. He's in a wheelchair, prosthetic legs. So when I took this to him, he said, "Oh, let's do it. Let's put together a collaborative agreement. You provide me the stuff, I'll run it through my lab. We'll get a nice report going. We'll get some funding going, either at SBIR money or National Science Foundation. Let's get this thing rolling," because he really liked it. So his target market is my target market, and that's the vets. Let's start out with getting government contracts and getting funding through pushing this out for the VA hospitals. And then we've got Stryker and other companies local here in Michigan that they could pick it up later, I suppose, but that's not my goal here. My goal is to service the vets. Yeah, and so with that, is each customer another VA hospital, or is there some like a contract that you get awarded? Yes, that's a great question. So Army, let's start with Army. So the Army has an acquisition corps, and it's national. So the VA hospital is a huge organization. So once it gets vetted through acceptance criteria for that sale through a government contract, then it's like, wow, try to keep up, right? I'm starting out with my first plan in the build phase are 4 people on the floor in operations, a technical specialist for supervisory duty, and a buyer and a customer rep kind of thing, 6 people total. But it could go very big very quickly once the government contract comes through. Yeah. Any other questions, judges?
So Dave, your goal then is to actually be in on the manufacturing of the product as opposed to selling the idea to a manufacturer that already exists?
That's an excellent question. So there's a couple of ways that this can be approached, right? You can just invent something, get it into a functional phase, sell it as an IP, right? IP, but that's not the intent here. The way this goes is Start Garden helped me out, right? That's where the seed was planted. I'm going to turn this back into the economic development of Grand Rapids area, and that's the purpose of that program. So I wouldn't mind picking up a property, a lease on an area of Grand Rapids, the city that is needing economic development. You get manufacturing jobs coming into that facility, you can get some, better paying jobs going into the community. And if that's all funded through a nice government contract, some of those are pretty sweet. The margins are pretty large on those contracts. So that's my dream. I want to just keep pushing this through, give back to the community. You can see I'm an older guy, right? But I really do want to give back to the community and also serve the vets. It's like a win-win.
Yeah.
I actually have a question, Dave. So it sounds like you have multiple patents. Do you have a patenting process on this as well?
Yeah, so USPTO is quite an interesting organization, right? I have a couple of friends that work there in the Detroit office, actually. So you start out with a provisional patent, and all that does is put a timestamp on your paperwork that goes in. It used to be the first to conceive an idea, and you had paperwork, but now it's the first to submit the paperwork. So that's where the timestamp comes in now. So I do have that paperwork in, filed with the patent office. I take care of those things. I make sure all that's in order. Absolutely.
Sure. And does that particular patent include the crutches and the device on the back of the wheelchair? Or what part of it what does that include?
It's an excellent question. So when you write a patent, there are certain claims that you make, right? And it's those claims that either get approved or disapproved by the authority that reviews the patent paperwork. So my claims are for the strap between the crutches.
Okay.
And the crutches, the mechanism on the handles where you can maintain control of the crutches and you simply use finger controls, just like a joystick or whatever. It's very easy to use to make the crutch go up or down. So it's the strap, the mechanism for controls. I do have a claim in there for power. It's 230 pounds per crutch. So we can lift some pretty big guys with these crutches. You can adjust that as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. I thank you. I really, like I say, I really do thank the Start Garden activity for sponsoring this first. It's really free sponsoring in the market domain and in the public domain. So I got great feedback in that event. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. That is why we do it. Yeah, it's good to see you. And yes, we will wish you luck, however things turn out tonight. It sounds like you're definitely working on something for a need that is out there. So yeah, it's good to see you, Dave.
All right, thanks very much.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, Murphy. This is our last presentation. Melissa Polanco, I will say.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Melissa. How's it going?
Good. How are you guys? Thank you so much for allowing me to present about our brand.
Yeah.
So I guess we can just get started. First slide, please. My name is Melissa Polanco, and along with my sister, Lisa, I co-founded a makeup brand called Alice Eve Cosmetics. You can find us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and all that good stuff at Alice Eve Cosmetics. Our website and our email is right on there in case you want to follow us and all that. Next slide, please. When we created our brand, our goal was to celebrate different skin tones, but also we wanted to educate people about self-love and empowerment. Beauty and confidence go hand in hand together, and we take these two concepts into consideration when we're creating our products that will look amazing on different skin tones, but would also empower other women. Next slide, please. Our why is because we started our brand because we saw a lack of representation in the beauty industry. We also saw a lack of representation in beauty brands founded by women or women of color for that matter. There's also this misconception in advertisement and social media where you have to look a certain way or fit in this perfect mold to be considered beautiful. If you look at advertising campaigns for beauty brands and makeup brands in the UK or in USA, 78% of the models used were white women, while only 22% were women of color. We want to be able to change that, and we can start by creating a unique nude makeup collection that would be directed towards different skin tones. And when I say nude, I'm talking about like bare, natural-looking shades. Next slide, please. We have been in business for a little over 2 years now, and we have a loyal customer base. which keeps growing. In our collection currently, we have liquid lipsticks, we have lip lacquers, we have an eyeshadow palette, and we also have a lip care duo that has a lip scrub and a lip conditioner that's great for the winter. And we're currently working on expanding with a nude collection of lipsticks and blushes that will cater to every skin tone. And there are, if you look into other brands, there are nude shades available for different skin tones. But the issue with those are that usually they tend to fall into the peach kind of pinkish shade. And we want to work, or we are creating and working shades that are in the warmer undertones, which will look way better on darker skin tones. Next slide, please. The grant will help with the development of this nude collection, and it will help with the manufacturing fees, it will help with the packaging fees, and so other fees that we need. And typically if a white woman were to walk into a Sephora or an Ulta Beauty, which is a makeup brand for you guys, a makeup store, she would have the ability to choose between 200 different brands. As opposed to a woman of color, she walks in, there will only be 50 brands to choose from. And that's because not every brand caters to darker skin tones or different skin tones. Alice Eve Cosmetics wants to be able to change that narrative. And with this trend, it will be a step into the right direction. Thank you so much.
All right, y'all.
So currently, Melissa, you it looks like your products are mostly they're lip products, correct?
Correct, yes.
And you're currently selling them online?
Yeah, we're based in e-commerce, so that's how we sell our products. We actually partner up with Pack Elephant for the Studio Downtown Marketplace, so they have some of our products. So that's an amazing partnership that we were able to achieve, and that way we can create brand awareness.
Yeah, how are you doing with the e-commerce? Are there any sort of numbers you can give us as far as how your sales have been going?
Yeah, so our average is around $7,000, but that's because we are a very small indie brand, so we have limited resources. And then with COVID, it has been a little lower than that, but our average tends to be $7,000.
Like a year or a month or how long?
A year.
Okay. And I'm curious about I mean, obviously this is the white man talking. So as far as an opportunity in the nude space, when you say there's about 50 brands on average for a woman of color to choose from, is that just in general with cosmetics, or is there something about this nude line that you're working on that's unique to?
Yeah, so typically, like for example, I know I'm a little light, but sometimes I have to, even my friend, sometimes we have to like mix and match different shades together to be able to achieve like a perfect shade that work well with us. And so typically when I say about 50 brands, it's because of that. They do have a certain amount of darker shades, but they don't have a big area of them to offer. And that's why the 50 brands.
And do you feel like you would address that with your new collection that you're working on?
Yeah. So with the nude collection, so it will be it would have solid lipsticks and blushes. That's what the collection would involve. We want to be able to offer between 5 to 7 shades of each to be able to cater to different skin tones.
All right. Anyone else?
Melissa, I'm just wondering about your marketing plan. As you know, sometimes we as Black and brown folks still not up to par when it comes to social media. Are you doing any non-traditional marketing like Spanish media when it comes to newspapers, radio, etc.?
Yeah. So we have been blessed to be featured in different publications like Hip Latina, USA Today. We also were in, I don't know if you know, well, you probably know, Ana Patricia Gomez. She was a Univision correspondent, so she was able to try our products and share it with her following. And we also have been able to collab with other brands just so we can put our names out there.
Okay, thank you.
Melissa, I have a question.
Yes.
So the money that you would use for manufacturing fees, is that for the new collection?
Yes.
Or is it to scale up in the other products?
No, it will be for the new collection.
Just for the new collection. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And just real quick, one more question. Where are you currently making the products?
Our manufacturing companies are based in Canada. So that's yeah, so that's where our lab and our manufacturing company is, and then they ship it to us, and then me and my sister are the ones that put them all together.
All right. All right. Well,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, so this is where we take a break and we deliberate, and somebody gets $5,000 in the not too distant future, probably in the next 15 to 20 minutes. And I think Murphy has some sort of exciting video.
Wait, you gotta stop. You gotta stop. Wait, one second.
This is
I have
completely unplanned.
GR Noir. So
Oh.
I told GR Noir we're gonna start giving shouts out to businesses. So if you guys haven't been there and you like wine, even if you don't like wine and you like jazz, stop by or look it up. It's GR Noir, and next month we'll actually raffle off some wine. So shameless plug for GR Noir.
All right. Yes, Nadia Scott also part of the 100. And seriously, if you haven't been in there, check it out. It just opened and it's great. All right, and you can buy wine by the bottle, and they have a great selection. I've actually bought several wines by the bottle, and I think a raffle is a brilliant idea. That's what a bottle of wine. All right. So we will go deliberate. We'll pick somebody for 5,000. Stick around. Keep your screen on. Stay tuned. Grab a bottle of wine, and we'll be back shortly.
Peace.
Okay.
We are back. Hello.
Hello.
So for everyone's curiosity, we lost Daryl because the limitations of our streaming platform means that in order to have all of the contestants, participants backstage listening to our feedback, we have to lose one of the judges. It's just a technology issue. So Daryl is not with us, but we are all here. And what we'll do is we give feedback to everybody who presented, and then we will announce who gets the $5,000. But first, we should probably plug next month's event while we are here and people are coming on. Next month's event is March 30th. So join us again, March 30th. I'm sure we will be here. I'm in my house, or he's actually at Star Garden. And Lori, where are you?
I'm in my house too.
Okay, Kimberly, I'm going to guess because of the refrigerator background here.
Yeah, I'm in my kitchen. I spent a lot of time here.
The preserve incubator, also known as. Yeah, so how about we get into feedback? Yes?
Sounds good.
Okay. So I think we're just going to give feedback in order of who presented. And on my handy little notepad here, I think that starts with Stacy NAGELKIRK from Elderberry Syrup.
Hi, Stacy.
Hi.
Hi, I'm going to give you the feedback. So first of all, your presentation was awesome. It was just, really, really well thought out. You gave us a clear understanding of, your product and all that. And just an overall good presentation. I think that the one thing we were not clear on, or maybe you could have talked about a little bit more, was a little bit more about your growth strategy. I know that you said you're like pushing the boundary on cottage food law and stuff like that, but we weren't clear where you plan on going after you're selling out of your garage. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So yeah, that was our only thought, was we would like to have heard a little bit more about, like what's next.
Okay.
So no, but great job. Really, really great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, seriously, hard decision tonight. Thank you, Stacy. And then I think we got Deshaun up next with the Drone Zone Air.
Yes. Hey, Deshaun. So I'm Kimberly. I'm going to be giving you your feedback. So first of all, I loved your passion around what you're doing here. I think you have a very good sense of the industry and the potential for growth, and that particularly in STEAM and Black and brown children and communities. One of the things that I guess we would have liked to see more of is, how do you actually plan to scale? So what does that look like? You talked a lot about providing opportunities, STEAM opportunities for students of color, and then moved a little bit into the party segment too. So would just encourage you to kind of figure out what your market segmentation is actually going to look like. And then with you renting the drones versus selling them, how are you going to make a profit and scale it into a profitable business?
Thank you so much.
I will present Deshaun with the award for best Zoom background of the evening. I don't know where you are, but it's talent.
I'm at the pledge. Thank you so much.
Oh,
yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Deshaun.
Thank you.
And who's up next? I think it's Steven with BASALT. The Tex-MEX tacos. And a really great dialogue between Jorge and Steven as we clarified for all of us, particularly the gringos, what does Tex-MEX mean anyway? So Steven, I mean, like I said, I'm personally, would benefit from BASALT showing up in Easttown. But more than that, I mean, obviously you guys you're off and running. I checked out your Facebook page, and it seems like you guys got a great following as far as customers and a lot of friends and passionate advocates for the food you're making, and the food looks incredible. I definitely recommend anybody check out the photos of the food, because it will make you hungry. I mean, so, and I think the vision of where it goes was great. I think on the you know, what we would have liked to see more of. I think particularly for you guys with a restaurant and opening up in this kind of COVID landscape, it's just really dialing into like the hard facts of the numbers of this is what we got to clear each month. This is our, you know, strategy to do it. We've seen based on our sales at the farmers market, we really think this is a, you know, a hittable target. And this is because I think that, you know, the vision to employ people and to make it an open and welcoming space is fantastic, you know, but then it just becomes your responsibility to make sure the gas is in the tank, meaning the money is in the bank, to actually keep those people employed. So that was the feedback from us. But yeah, great job. All right. Oh, hey, it's Dave Clark. Good. I'm giving you feedback as well, Dave. Again, it was good to see you. I think like, as far as where you were in 2018 and where you are today, it's really impressive to see where you've gone. And I think the thing that really struck all of us as we were back there deliberating is you, probably not just out of everybody who presented tonight, but out of most people who present, the team that you've built around the product now is incredibly strong. That to us felt like not only was it impressive, but it felt like an enormous asset to what you're trying to do. I think probably with the what we would have liked to see more of. I mean, especially when it's 5x5 night, we're usually looking for how does that 5,000 take somebody from where they're at here. I'm looking at myself on the screen, you know, and then just sort of give them that boost to here. And we're usually really searching for like, what's that project that would be really impacted by the $5,000. And so I think that some of the details as far as specifically around the 5,000 with the crutches and all of the work that you're doing there, that was where we could have used some more detail. But yeah, again, like awesome to see your progress over the last 2 years.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. So I get to do the last one, and Melissa, you know, I can tell you from personal experience, being around Latina females in my family for years, I can really relate to what you know, the mission and the purpose of what you're trying to accomplish. And even though there's already like 50, you know, different brands out there that cater to the Latino community, it's not enough. We need 200 just like everybody else. So I'm really excited for what you're doing. And yes, Paul, we need more than 50.
I never suggested you didn't. All right, go ahead.
So great job. And I think you're definitely going places. The only feedback that I would suggest is that me personally, you know, once you keep growing and you keep moving into higher places, you might want to consider manufacturing locally, because we need manufacturing here in Grand Rapids and not in Canada.
Yeah.
That's just my personal opinion. But also, as far as your presentation was very good, it was actually shorter than 5 minutes, so I appreciate that. But I would have liked more breakdown of, you know, the percentages that you were going to use towards manufacturing and packaging of the 5,000. I think that would give us a bigger picture, especially because you do have experience with all the types of cosmetics entering into this new line. That would have helped. But overall, great product. Like I said, me personally being Latino, I think you're going places. And you know, whatever happens, I would suggest that you reach out to Lori and myself, you know, and trying to help you with expanding, especially when it comes to the branding, especially here in Grand Rapids. So that's my feedback. Thank you.
Thank you.
Paul, you're on mute.
And of course, of all times. Embarrassing. So, oh yeah. So this is the big reveal, right? It's the $5,000. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with everybody who's watching. We were deliberating every moment that we were away from the camera, and the pressure started to get hot. And we were like, "Come on, guys, let's get to it. Let's get to it. We got to get to the end of the decision because it was hard. Tonight was competitive. It was difficult." What that means is that I did not get a chance to fill out my little prop check that I hold up to the camera here because I jumped off and then came straight into the stream in order to give the reveal. So we're gonna do this verbally, and we have our special guest of Lux Preserves, who is a resident entrepreneur that's with us tonight. Do you want to do the honors of revealing who won, Kimberly?
Sure, I'll be honored. Thank you.
All right, hit it.
So the winner for tonight is Ella's Eve Cosmetics.
Oh my God.
Congratulations.
Oh my God, thank you so much. I'm like, I don't know what to think.
So I gotta give a plug to everybody else real quick. Like I'm not kidding. It was really competitive, and everybody had really strong points that made the decision really difficult. I think what it boiled down to finally with you, Melissa, was that question of, is $5,000 going to be really impactful? And it felt like the case you made was like, yes, we're here, really small time, but this could potentially get us up into a new space.
Thank you so much. I'm like nervous. I don't know what to say. I'm just thank you.
Oh, come on! Didn't you prepare a speech?
No, I didn't.
Well, Melissa, since Paul didn't have the actual, paper check, I guess we're obligated to send you an actual check, which we will reach out and get your information, and we'll make sure that Lori actually sends out the real check.
Yeah.
I like how Jorge just suggested that everyone else just gets like a screen.
Yeah, just like a paper check.
Of me holding up a fake check or something. You get to have a real check.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're so welcome.
Yeah.
I do just want to say that again, reiterate for all the judges that it was, there was a lot of deliberation because every single one of the presentations tonight was really strong. Everyone had a really great business idea, and so. Again, we kind of had to narrow it down to where did we feel like the money might be most impactful. So for the 4 who did not win tonight, I would love to connect with you, and I will connect with you afterwards to see, this week to see what else we can help you guys with. And we do, we do want to make sure that you guys keep going. So
yeah, I totally second that. I would love to sit down with anybody who presented tonight and just talk through your plans and see if there's any way we can help out.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are back on March 30th. Bye, Melissa. That's how we roll. How we roll in 2021 till we're all vaccinated. Get a vaccine. That's a little public health plug right there. Lori, you got your vaccine?
I do it. Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully in the coming months, I will get mine. And then maybe we'll get to all be back in person. But until then, March 30th, we should be back like this. So we will see you then.
All right. Thanks, Kimberly.
Hey, thank you for having me. It was a great time.
Yeah. You're welcome back anytime, Kimberly. It was great.
Thank you.
Fun.
Bye-bye.
Bye.